I'm Christy Forsyth with Clarity by Christy, and today we are here for my live webinar, Life on Purpose. So I'm going to give people a few minutes to jump in so that we can get started. I'm really excited to be here today because I'm going to share a lot about my story. I'm going to share a lot of things that I want you guys to be able to take away from this, because I think there's a lot that I've learned on my journey, and I'm really excited to share it with all of you. So make sure you guys are saying hi if you are here in the group, here watching in the webinar. Thank you guys so much for being here. I've been so just grateful for all of the support that you guys have given me. This has been so amazing, and decided to do this webinar today on the 11/11 gateway, right? This is, in my opinion, the most powerful day of the year. In terms of manifestation and creating new beginnings for yourself and making powerful changes in your life. So of course, on an angel number day, on a powerful manifestation day, I wanted to do this course because not only for me, but for you guys, because so many of you are tuning in, so many of you guys are interested in finding a life that is purposeful, finding a career that's purposeful, and connecting with that, figuring out how to do that. Hi guys, thanks for being here. I see all of you guys saying hi, lots of you. Awesome. Jenny says she found it. Yep, you're all here. Good, I'm glad you found it. I'm glad you're all here. I even had people like joining at the very last minute in the group. So thank you also for joining the group and being here and being present with this webinar today. So before we dive into the stuff that I want to talk about in the webinar, I just want to do a little reading for you guys, for anybody who is present in the group today. These are messages that you need to hear. What do you need to hear? I'm just asking specifically for this 11/11 portal. What is it that you guys need to know? What is it that you need to hear on this day? So if something connects for you, make sure you take that message and you apply it, right? So let's see what we have today here for you guys. We'll pull a few cards. Okay. Oh, I love this. So first of all, we have the star card, okay? So this is so perfect for this. I love the way that the angels just organize things to make them so perfect. And so the star card is all about shining your light. The star card is all about you living your life in a way that makes you light up, that makes you shine. It's about you being front and center of your life and being the star of your own life. So for those of you who are thinking about starting a career, starting a business that is more soul aligned, this is the perfect card, because when we are living a purposeful life, when we are in alignment with that purpose, and even better, getting paid for it, we are shining our light. We are feeling excited. We are feeling good about our lives and ourselves. And so this star card is really, really perfect. And this is all about inviting you guys to shine your light, right? If you're not feeling, maybe you're feeling kind of dim, maybe you're not feeling fantastic right now. So shining your light and allowing yourself to begin and explore this journey. This is a perfect day for you guys to begin this journey of exploring what's next for you and what changes do you want to make. So let's see, what else do we have here? Okay. The 8 of Air. This is also a perfect card, right? I'm going to just read it for you, the card and what it says, so that you guys can see what it says. So it says, an illusion of being trapped. A lack of self-confidence, afraid to take action. Okay, so this is a message for so many of you. I know I've been in this place so many times in my life where you feel more stuck than you actually are. And I'm going to talk a whole lot today about doing it scared, doing it anyway, doing it even though you feel afraid, okay? Because so many times we're not actually that stuck, but we're just feeling too afraid to move forward. And when we talk about starting a soul-aligned career, when we talk about starting a soul-aligned business, we really, a lot of this, especially if you are going to become a soulpreneur, you're going to start your own business, it requires a lot of faith. It requires some major leaps of faith. It requires you to jump into situations where you're not really sure what you're getting on the other side of it, right? It requires some risk. It requires you to move. It requires you to take action. So understand that you're not as stuck as you think you are, and really work on that confidence. And some of that confidence comes just from doing it anyway, just from going for it. And I talked in my video last week about that, how I found so much confidence in just doing that, in just doing it anyway and going for it and taking action. So don't be too afraid to take action, okay? I hope that that's a huge takeaway, maybe the most important takeaway from what you get here today. And then we'll do one more card for you guys. So this is a message for all of you, for those of you that are just joining. Oh, and I love this too. This is saying, like, whatever it is that you are focusing on, that you are wanting to do, if it is in alignment with your soul, with your best life path, if you're following your intuition, if you are following those promptings of your soul, your wish comes true. That's what this card says. Concerns fade away, a love of life. I can't make this shit up, you guys. So this is really encouragement for those of you who are here to get started in some way tonight. I would encourage you to get started in some way tonight. Just take some action, do something, because this is a powerful portal. Even if you just begin to visualize what that business that you want to create looks like, or what that next career that you want to start looks like. And I'm going to focus mostly about starting a business, but it doesn't have to be that. It can be a career, because I also understand that not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody's built to be an entrepreneur, or is looking for that based on the circumstances that they have in their life. So a lot of what I'm going to talk about will apply to both, to becoming a soulpreneur, right? An entrepreneur that is following the callings of their soul, or following your soul's journey and finding a career that is in alignment for you. So these cards are so perfect, and just total validation to me that whoever is in here is supposed to be here. And I hope that it's validation for you guys that let's move forward with this thing in some way, right? Let's get started. So I really want to encourage that. So I'm going to dive in. I actually wrote a script for today's webinar, and I'm not going to read it word for word, but I really wanted to make sure that I covered certain things and I followed certain things. And I'm going to talk a lot about me today. I'm going to talk a lot about my story, because I think that there's a lot of takeaways. But what I'm going to talk about is how I left my 9-to-5 job. It was actually 8:30 to 4:30, but you get the point. That was making me absolutely miserable, and starting the business of my dreams, and starting this business that never in a million years would I have expected to start, or would have expected that I would have had the guts to start, honestly. So we're going to be talking about that. But if you are somebody who is just feeling disconnected from your purpose, or if you're finding yourself feeling unhappy or unfulfilled in the work that you're doing, if you are wanting to start a career or a business, like maybe you just are feeling called to start something, you already know what that is, or, and maybe part of the issue is just having the, feeling like you have the strength to be able to do that, or feeling like you have the bravery to do that, or if you're just somebody who's wanting to be living a life that is on purpose and getting paid for it, this is the webinar for you. And I think that even if you intend to make no changes whatsoever in your work, I think that there are some things that can apply, that you can take away and even apply into the work that you're doing now. So stay put, even if none of those are in alignment for you, because we can always improve upon that. We can always incorporate our purpose even more so into our work and find ourselves feeling more fulfilled. So I call myself a soul therapist. For those of you that don't know me, most of you I think do know me here in this, but I call myself a soul therapist, which really is an intuitive life coach. And I also have a background as a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm going to talk about that. I'm still a licensed mental health counselor. I am a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and an intuitive and an energy practitioner. I do all kinds of stuff, and I really brought all of my background together to do the work that I do here at Clarity Now. And I've been working with people one-on-one in some capacity, or with groups in some capacity since, let me think. It's been a long time. Well, almost 20 years. Okay, so I've been working with people, I've been helping with people and getting paid for it for almost 20 years. And I can remember even being on the what grade was that? The 5th grade playground, I think, and doing hypnosis sessions on the other kids. Like literally there was a line of kids waiting for me to hypnotize them. I can remember just always feeling compelled to help people, to do things to help people. So it's just part of who I am, right? And it's always been what I do. And what I want to help you guys do is to connect with that purpose, to connect with that thing that you do and use that to guide what you are going to be, working on, what you're going to be focusing on with your work and your time that you are putting into your work. So you might not know this, but there is a really huge misconception that I hear all the time when I'm working one-on-one with clients, when you are getting ready to start a career or a business of your own. And people think that you have to have it all together. I remember that I thought this, right? And actually, I was kind of OCD about it. I was really like, I've got to have all my ducks in a row. I've got to have this, that. I've got to have this, that. I've got to have this, that. And what I find, though, is there's nothing wrong with being prepared. There's nothing wrong with getting the training that you need or taking certain actions and getting stuff prepared and getting ready to go. But what I find is that we oftentimes get so stuck in this way of thinking of, well, now I need this and now I need this. And it almost becomes sort of an excuse to get started. I just need this to happen and then I can start my business. I just need this to happen and then I can start my business. And we keep putting it off and we keep putting it off. And that's really just oftentimes fear that's holding us back. And what I have found is that really there aren't a whole lot of things that you need if it's in alignment with your soul's purpose to get started as a soulpreneur right away. So, yes, you need a few things that you need to get together, but you can get started right away. Like I said, I really encourage you guys to take some of these things you're learning tonight and apply them tonight. So today, I'm going to talk about why it's easier to get started than you think it is, and how I've done that and what my journey has looked like and what I have followed. So first, I'm going to share with you the 3 secrets that I have followed through my journey. 3 secrets that I think are most important for takeaways, and 3 secrets that I will be focusing on the program that I'm going to be presenting at the end of this webinar as well. So those 3 secrets are, number 1, listening to your intuition. If you are truly listening to your intuition, if you are taking action based on your intuition, if you are tuning into that intuitive voice, it is going to show you the way every step of the way. It is the roadmap to your soul. It is showing you the path you're meant to take. And if you are listening to that, you really can't mess it up, because it's going to show you what the next step in your business you're meant to take and what you should do to set your business up, right? If we're listening to our intuition and we're using that to set our business up, then we don't have to have our ducks all in a row, and we don't have to have this and that and all these things, because our intuition is going to tell you what's most important to get set up and what step to take and where to go with that. So I'm going to be talking more about that. The second one is, secret number 2 is understanding your life's purpose. And I know that people get stuck on that, so I'm going to give some ideas as to how you can connect with that. But understanding your life's purpose and starting a career or a business that's in alignment with that absolutely sets you up for success. I truly feel like this is like a cheat code for starting a business, right? When we can do something that's in alignment with our soul, we have so much extra support from the universe that is going to help us and allow us to be a success. So understanding what that purpose is and using it in a business is going to be so, so important. And number 3 is to start exactly where you're at, to feel afraid and do it anyway. To stop making excuses, to dive into it, to go for it, to take some leaps of faith when your intuition is telling you to take some leaps of faith, and you are going to be absolutely successful. So I feel like these are the 3 most important keys to having a successful business. Now, you don't hear me talking about having a business background or having all of this training or all of this understanding. And again, we do need certain things as a background. For me, I was a mental health counselor. I got certified in life coaching. I got certified in hypnosis. So I set myself up with things that I felt intuitively that I needed, but we don't want it to become an excuse again. So before we get into the nitty-gritty of these secrets, I want to talk a little bit about my story and really dive into that, because I think that there are a lot of important takeaways with my story that will connect for you guys. So as I mentioned before, I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I worked in a counseling agency and absolutely loved it for a long time. I was there before this happened. I'm not even sure, but several years. And I worked there and I was doing counseling. And again, I'm born to help, right? So I was living in my purpose in a lot of ways, and got to the point where I was pretty successful there. I was the program coordinator and just really loved what I did until I didn't, right? Until I didn't. And then what started to happen is, and I find that this is just really true with whatever you call this, God, the universe, whatever you're going to call that, is when it's time for us to make a change, God will start to make you uncomfortable. And if we ignore like that little feeling of discomfort, it's going to grow stronger and stronger and louder, okay? So we're going to, as that happens, you're going to find yourself becoming more and more uncomfortable. So if you're somebody who's in this group and you are feeling very uncomfortable in the work that you're doing, take that as, a cue, as something that's trying to show you the way, because that's what that discomfort is trying to do, is trying to show you the way. So I felt pretty uncomfortable, and what that forced me to do was to start to look around a little bit, to start to break out of my same old routine that I had day in and day out. I did the exact same thing. I was very routine, and take a look at different options. And I started to look at different jobs. I started to just understand there was something that I was needing, but I didn't understand what it was. I just wasn't clear on what that was and what I was needing. So I was looking around, and what happens when we're in this place of discomfort is the universe will start to send help your way. It'll start to send guidance in many, many forms. And one of the ways that I received guidance was actually from Nicole, who many of you know, who was my business partner for quite some time here at Clarity. And Nicole and I actually worked together at the counseling agency, and I was technically her boss. So we were having our meeting together, at our weekly meeting, and she said, I have to talk to you about something. And she was really nervous, and she said, I just want to share with you that I've been connecting with my own intuition. I've been getting a lot of psychic messages, and I know this sounds really weird, but one of the messages that I'm getting for you is that you're supposed to be connecting with this too. Now, what happened for me in that moment was so powerful. And actually, I can remember that my physical body just had such a strong response to it. I felt for 3 days straight just this feeling in my chest. It was kind of uncomfortable, actually. But the thing about our bodies is that is our greatest intuitive tool, okay? And what my body was trying to tell me was that this was a major moment in my life, and I had no idea. But my life was never going to be the same, because what she triggered with that conversation, with that statement, was me opening my intuition back up, because I had been really intuitively connected as a child. I had had lots of experiences as a child, and then had shut that down at a certain point, and then that reconnected for me around 18, 19, and had actually some scary experiences, I guess, with what I call earthbounds, which are ghost energies and all kinds of stuff. But I had always been really interested in this stuff. But around that time when things got scary, I just said, you know what? I don't want to do any of this. I'm not interested. Please shut this down. And when we set an intention with the universe, as long as it's in alignment with our highest and best good, it listens, okay? So, oh no, my battery. I gotta, hold on one second, guys. I've got to make an adjustment here so that this is charging. I thought it was charging because it's hooked up to my computer. But I think I've got to turn my computer on. Give me 1 second. So, I'll just leave you there for now. So what happened, I knew that something significant had happened, but I wasn't quite sure what to do with that. But I knew immediately that this was right for me, that I wanted to open back up to this, that I wanted to begin to explore this. So almost immediately started reading some books and taking some intuition development classes and learning everything that I could so that, all right, I think I've gotcha. All right, thank you guys. Thanks for your patience. Learning everything that I could, I was like soaking it all in, right? Because all of a sudden it was like, yes, this is, I don't know why, but this is something that I'm needing. This is something that my soul is craving. And you can recognize when your soul is craving things because it'll just make you feel joyful. It'll just make you feel good. You'll feel excited. You'll feel like I just was like constantly excited about my life at that point, other than when I was at work. But I was just excited because I was soaking it all in. I was learning so much and developing in that way. And almost immediately I started to see auras. I started not long after that to see angels, and it became really difficult and uncomfortable to provide traditional counseling because I couldn't acknowledge the angel that was in the room. My supervisor said I couldn't. You know, she was really cool, but she was like, you know, no, we can't do that here, understandably so. So I was having these experiences, I was connecting with these gifts, and suddenly I had this new energy in my life, this new interest in my life, and I wasn't quite sure what to do with it. So I was getting all these promptings from my intuition. And so it was things like to take the intuition development I got certified in hypnosis, something I had done here and there through the years, but I hadn't been certified in it. So I felt compelled to get certified. So I just listened to that and I didn't question it. I did like a 60-hour hypnosis training, got trained in that, and was just working on things kind of on the side and learning and growing and developing. I knew that there was a reason that I was doing all of this, but I still didn't quite understand where this fit. I just understood that it helped, and I understood that it felt good, and that I was just pulled. I just had these feelings about this stuff. So not long after that, I started to get a feeling that it was time for me to start a business. And so I wasn't even really clear about exactly what that would look like. I didn't have a ton of confidence that I could go in and now do the things that I now do all the time, every day. I didn't have the confidence and the faith in myself to expect that I could do that. But it was something that I brought up to Nicole, and it was something that we talked about. And through her encouragement, through us talking about it, we just started to just brainstorm and create ideas around creating a business and coming up with the name, and we called it Clarity, and just figuring out exactly what that was going to look like. And actually our vision of that then is really different from what it is now, but we got started. We started with these ideas, and again, I kind of thought, okay, so this is something maybe a couple years off from now I'll be maybe exploring or doing as a hobby or whatever, but I didn't really take it too seriously. But again, that discomfort within me was growing and growing and growing, and it got to the point that it really pushed me. And I said, you know what, maybe this is something I could do on this side. Maybe we could find an inexpensive office and get started with that. So she agreed, because she's, one thing that I love about Nicole is she's really spontaneous. So she was just pretty fearless through this process, which was really helpful to me to have that encouragement, because I was really nervous through this whole thing. And so I happened to be at my chiropractor's and just happened to, again, have a feeling. And I said, hey, do you have any offices here in this building? Do you know if they have any offices for rent here in this building? Because I felt really intuitively pulled to the Elmira area rather than some of the other areas around. It just felt really important for me to set up an office in Elmira for some reason. So she said, actually, yeah, and let me give you the office manager's number. So we called the office manager, got a meeting. He took us around to look at some offices. We found this tiny little office that was exactly actually the price that we had focused on in our manifestation, because we would do focused manifestation to help create this business. From the very beginning, we were doing manifestation writing and writing down exactly what we wanted, putting our order in with the universe. So it was really cool when he came back with the exact price, which was very low. I think it was $125 for our monthly rent. It was pretty amazing. It was this tiny little office, but it was perfect. And when we walked out, we saw that on the door it said 222A, and 222 had sort of become a yes number for both of us. It was our lucky number. It was our number that said you're exactly where you're meant to be. And then the A to me stood for angels, right? So we just kind of knew. Again, it was like this synchronicity that and a sign that was showing us that we're exactly where we were supposed to be. So again, I took some comfort in that, and we just decided to go for it. So we started. And what was really, really neat is by following this, we had people wanting to schedule sessions with us before we even officially opened our doors. Like, we had been practicing on people, and they would tell their friends, and they would tell their friends, and it just already got started with a momentum, which I thought was really, really cool. And so we started with that, and then not very long after that, I felt really compelled to put a little bit more time into the business. So Nicole and I actually both talked to our boss, and we asked for one day away, so fewer hours where I was working, and I transitioned that day over here at Clarity, and I just started seeing people one day a week. We were sharing that office, so we were there on different days, and we just made that work. Again, it was like figuring out exactly where we were at. How can I make this work? How can I build a business? And so we did that and did that for a while, and then there was a time when that office started to feel kind of cramped and uncomfortable, and we both wanted to expand by another day. And again, our employer gave us another day, which was amazing and beautifully supportive. And so we were doing that, and we ended up moving into a bigger space and taking yet another leap of faith by getting the bigger space, the space that we have now. And it was right around that time, actually, that she quit totally at our work, and I was there just not quite feeling ready to go. You know, I didn't feel the business was built up enough. I didn't feel that safety net, you know. But again, when it's time for you to move, the universe is going to make you uncomfortable, and oh my God, did it make me uncomfortable. And we had all kinds of like new policies all of a sudden out of the blue that changed everything at work. And we had a new boss that definitely changed everything at work and made it so much more uncomfortable. And I share this story a lot, but I can remember being in a grocery store parking lot one day that I just drove to on my lunch break because I didn't want to be at the office, and was just crying. And that was kind of a moment for me when I realized I've got to do this soon. I've got to make this happen. And not long after that, I, as terrified as I was, but with lots of praying and lots of deep breaths and lots of faith, I decided to transition over to Clarity full time. So bear with me, guys. I know this is a long story, but I hope that there are little takeaways that you're getting from this story that are really important. So when I left and started at Clarity, I wasn't in a place where, again, I had the kind of clientele, and I had bills to pay. You know, like, I didn't have the money in the bank. I had no money in the bank other than my paychecks from the place that I was at. I didn't have a savings account. I didn't have, you know, resources or extra support or anybody that I could really go to and say, hey, I don't have any money. You know, I'm running out of money. So it wasn't a situation where logically it was a good decision, but I felt intuitively called, and so I took that leap again. And so when I took that leap, again, they say that, you know, leap and the net will appear, so I kind of had that expectation. And it took a little while for my net to appear, I'll be honest with you guys. And so I was just struggling for a little while. I almost immediately picked up in clientele and was doing more sessions, but it wasn't enough to pay my bills. And not long after that, I found myself 2 months behind on my house payment. I was getting really scared because I was getting all these phone calls and got really afraid that I was going to lose my house. And this is where my faith was truly tested, you know. And I was saying to God, I don't know what you want me to do here. I really thought that you wanted me to do this. I truly deeply had felt that was the right thing to do. And so what I did is I said to God, I need you to show me that I need to still be here, right? Please show me. Please help me to understand that this is the right decision for me. And if you can't show me by next week when I have to make this payment, or it's going to become a real problem in terms of my house payment, then I'm going to start to look for another job, and I'm going to have to bail on this whole thing. So I kept getting all these signs that were showing up, all these, I can remember being in a parking lot, and I was just praying about it, and I looked up, and the car that was parked in front of me had a bumper sticker that said, "Expect miracles." And then we had somebody who shared the office space with us at the time, an attorney, Bobby, and Bobby randomly had come into my office and wrote the word "believe" on my marker board. And I said, "Why did you write that?" He said, "I don't really know. I just felt really called to do that." So I did that, right? And it was like the exact day that I was asking, "Help me believe, help to show me." And just little things like that. I found another little card on my desk that said "believe," and something like "believe without always seeing," and just all these signs. So I'm like, okay, great, awesome. God's going to show up for me, something's going to happen, and this is going to be okay. And so we get down to the day that I had set the deadline, and nothing had really happened. And I'm nervous, but I'm like, okay, it's going to happen today. It's going to happen today. I'm not going to have to apply for another job. And I get to the end of my day. Literally, I'm with a 7 p.m. client. So this is my last client of the day. And at that point, I'm just absolutely defeated. And I'm sad and really struggling. And at the end of the session, and sometimes this still chokes me up actually because it was so powerful, my client looked at me and she said, "Christy, you know what? I really want to do this work with you, and I really want to hold myself accountable. So this is what I'd like to do. I would like to pay you this amount of money because I'd like to purchase several sessions in a row so that it will help hold me accountable. It'll help me to show up. It'll help me to come, because if I pay you, I'm going to show up." So she did that, and when she talked about the amount that she wanted to give me, it was almost to the dollar the amount that I needed to pay those 2 house payments. So that night, at the absolute last minute, right before I got my miracle, and that's it, is sometimes you have to keep the faith longer. Sometimes you have to keep going, and you have to trust. So if you guys decide, yes, I want to start with this, I want to go with this, don't let little failures, little bumps in the road, things that seem like big barricades, don't let those shut you down. You have to keep going. You have to keep trusting. You have to keep putting your faith in God. And if you can do that, this is where the real miracles come. I remember there's a story in, what's that book called? Think and Grow Rich, if any of you guys have read that. It's an amazing book, by the way, if you haven't. And he talks about this gold miner who is digging and digging and digging for gold, and had this faith, and he just kept pushing and he kept pushing. I know there's gold here. I know there's gold here. And finally, eventually, he decided that he was going to give up, that there was no gold to be found, and he left. And then another miner came in not long after that, found where he had been digging, and started digging, and within less than a day found gold on the other side of where he had been digging. So the point is, when you are doing something like this, you have to keep going. You have to keep the faith long enough for the miracle to happen. Because it doesn't always happen in our time, it happens in God's time. And so we have to trust that. We have to allow for God to show up for us in the way that he wants to. So sometimes it's hard to be patient. Sometimes it's hard to keep the faith. So even for those of you who have tried to start a business, who have tried to get going with things, and you felt like you got blocked or stuck in some way, sometimes it's a matter of just continuing to trust and to continue to keep going. So I really encourage you guys to keep doing that. Yes, you might need to make adjustments to what you're doing. Yes, we have to live on this earthly plane, so we've got to figure out some solutions. But also, if we can keep trusting, and if it feels as though it's truly in alignment with your life purpose, God's going to take care of you, and the money will come, and whatever it is that you're needing will come to help support you. It just might come at the last minute, which isn't like my favorite, but it is what it is. Okay. So I've been since then just building this business, right? And I've been continuing to just follow my intuition every step of the way. And just continuing to take these little leaps of faith along the way and push myself and just listen. So if I wake up one morning with an idea and that feels like my intuition, I just jump on it, and I jump on it right away. And that's the thing, is you need to jump on these things immediately. You need to jump on them right away, because sometimes there's only a window, a small window of an opening for that energy. And so your intuition is trying to show you the way. And your intuition will try to show you the way. So if you can just follow that and you can take immediate action. So don't take action 6 months from now. Take action now. Take action tonight. If your intuition is going off while I'm sharing this story with you, take action on those things. That's really important to do. And so from this point forward, I just really have continued to follow that, continue to let that shape what I'm doing, continue to not be stubborn and like, no, it has to be this way. I let myself be guided. I let myself be shown what I'm meant to do. In fact, that's a prayer that I say, please God, show me how I can be of service. And that's what I encourage you guys to do. Let yourself be shown every step of the way in your business that you're starting, or if you're looking for a new career, maybe you don't want to start a business, but ask God to show you, show me, let opportunities show up for me. And your job is to look for signs, to look for synchronicities that are showing up for you, because they will show up for you. They will be showing you every step of the way. So I want to come back to these 3 secrets, because I think that they're really key here. And so that first secret is to connect to and follow your intuition every step of the way. If I haven't driven that home, I'm going to drive it home now. Because the idea is that if you're listening to your intuition, you don't need to have all this experience or to have all these fancy technology. There's so much going on. There's so many opportunities with technology, right? And we can have all of the amazing webcams and have, all of these tools and things that we need. But at the end of the day, if your intuition is telling you to get started, don't wait till you have that fancy camera. Just record it on your phone. Most of my this video right now is on my iPad. I have a fancy camera. I rarely use it because I think that it's easier to use my phone and my iPad or my computer, so just get started. Just go and let that intuition, if your intuition is telling you to get started, follow it, because your intuition is like a cheat code for having a successful business. And if you're following it, it's going to show you. So if you feel compelled to reach out to a person that day, then reach out to that person that day. If you feel compelled to show up to an event, even if you don't know why, then show up to that event. So listening to those little promptings of your soul. Because we have that tendency, like I said, to over-prepare ourselves for things and to feel like I need this and I need that. And we don't want that to become an excuse for us not getting started on what we're feeling compelled to do. Because again, we may only have a window of opportunity to get started on those things. Yes, if it's meant for you, you'll get other opportunities, but that might look different. So pay attention to the windows of opportunity, to those intuitive promptings that are showing up. And how can you connect with your intuition? I really encourage people to get in their own energy, because this is where we can hear the promptings of our soul. Spend time by yourself, okay? So it's really hard to hear your intuition if you're constantly around people, or if you never let yourself be alone or in quiet, okay? So allowing yourself to spend some time in your own energy. Allow yourself, if you want to meditate. That is a way to really deeply connect with your intuition, or to do things like going for a walk or doing something creative, whatever it is that helps you to get into that state where you feel like you are hearing that inner voice, okay? Whatever it is, do those things, because that will help to foster, that will help to grow and develop and build your intuition. So the more you're doing that, the better. And it's not going to be impacted by other people's energies, because so many of us who, so many of the people that I work with are energy sensitive, right? And when we're energy sensitive, we can be so easily impacted by other people's energies. Like, I can even go to a restaurant with somebody, and if they choose to order something, I'll be impacted by that energy and choose to order that too, right? So like sometimes it's hard for us to even know who the heck we are or what we really want because we're impacted and influenced by other people's energies. Some people are more impacted than other people. So if you let yourself spend time in your own energy, you can get to know who you are, what you want, and let that voice guide you. And I oftentimes find too that those little quiet moments in your day, like for me, it's when I'm taking a shower, or when I'm doing my hair or makeup, or when I'm driving in my car by myself, is when I get a lot of messages. So when you feel things coming through that just feel like it'll probably just be in your own voice, or just a quick flash of an image, or just a knowing, or just a sense of what's trying to come through, and it'll just feel natural because our intuition is really just naturally part of who we are. But if something comes through that feels like a good idea, you are encouraged. Why is this not charging? Sorry guys, I'm having charging problems. Hopefully this will stay charged. So if you're not listening to those promptings, all right, let's get that set. So you want to pay attention to those, is my point, because if you ignore those, then you're going to find yourself becoming more and more uncomfortable. And we want to allow ourselves to follow that and to listen to that. That'll come through. It'll just feel like a good idea, or it'll just be like, oh, that's random. Why would I have that thought? Like when I thought about hypnosis, it just totally came out of the blue. It was just like, oh, that's something that interests me. I would like to learn more about that. I'm going to look that up. And I looked it up that day right away and got started within, a few days, a few weeks, I think, with that. But I got started with that right away and got registered and got started with the class. So you want to dive right in with that and listen to that voice that's coming through for you. I would love to hear how you guys feel your intuition, or how you guys connect with your intuition. So feel free to comment with that in comments below. So following that intuition is really that first step. And then what comes next is, and this is again another cheat code for having a successful business, is starting a business or having a career that is in alignment with your life purpose. Okay, so anything that is in alignment with your life purpose and makes you feel good, makes you feel like you're living a purposeful life, is chances are going to be really supported by the universe. And so you're going to find that it's a little bit of an easier path. So if you're trying to start a business that's not at all you, or not at all in alignment with who you are and where you're supposed to be going, then it's going to probably not be as successful. You're going to feel like you are, it's like an uphill battle, right? But you should find that there's some ease, at least, with starting a business that is in alignment with your purpose. Now, that doesn't mean there's not going to be barriers. That doesn't mean there's not going to be challenges. This is still Earth. This is still life, But you'll find that little things, like the example that I gave with that office earlier, will just kind of come easily to you. Maybe even clients will come easily to you, or opportunities will come easily to you. So you'll find like these little, I call them like little winks from God, that will show you that you are supported on this journey. So you want to pay attention to that as well. So listening to what that is. And when we are living a life that is purposeful, we are going to be manifesting even more amazing things because we feel more joyful, we feel good, we feel happy. So we want to make sure that we are doing that as well. That will help to support your business. And also, people will feel how genuine you are. If you are just being you, and doing something that allows you to just be you, truly who you are, people are going to feel that and people are going to be drawn to you. So when you're thinking about what is my purpose, or I'm not sure what my purpose is, think about what draws people to you. What do people come to you for? You know, what lights you up? What brings you joy? What makes you happy? Because a lot of times our purpose is what lights us up. Like I said to you guys, I've known that I was meant to help people maybe from birth. You know, I just always knew. In some ways what that looked like was you know, me just doing what it is. I think I was a relatively easy child from a pretty early age because I just understood what people wanted from me. I understood what people needed from me, and I tried to be that. So, you know, when we are listening, or what is it that you are drawn to? What is it that you've kind of always been drawn to, or who have you always been? And think back to childhood, because I find that we're most connected to our purpose when we are a child. So what did you like to do? What were you interested in when you were a child is really important and really helpful for understanding that purpose. And then secret number 3 is to do it scared. And this is the most important thing, because I think a lot of times we can feel the callings of our soul, we feel our intuition, we maybe feel intuitively called to take action, and then we don't do a damn thing. So I would love to hear from you guys, how many of you are like feeling like you're in that place, like I'm just scared to move, I'm scared to take action. Because I know for me, I've held myself back in a lot of ways, or it's taken me longer to get where I want to go because I was afraid. So you really have to do it scared. You have to push it. and that's really hard. You know, becoming an entrepreneur, starting a business is a really scary thing. I was actually having a conversation with a friend about this. It's a scary thing. There are things that you give up. There's safety and security, and a security blanket in some ways that you are giving up, that you're jumping into this other thing, and you don't know what that's going to look like. It's a risk. Right? And I've never been much of a risk taker. So that was huge for me to do that. But what I understood was that doing what I was doing helped me to feel good, that my intuition was screaming for me to do that. And so I just took many leaps of faith, and have been taking many leaps of faith through this journey, and continue to do that. And I'm telling you, it hasn't been easy. And Nicole especially has been witness to, and a lot of my friends witness to the anxiety that I felt around that. I had to have her tell me it's going to be okay many, many times. And so you're going to have to coach yourself through it. You're going to have to seek support. You're going to have to bring yourself back to faith over and over and over again, because I oftentimes say that following your most purposeful life is actually in some ways harder. It's more challenging because you are challenging yourself. You are pushing yourself. You are, you know, always forcing yourself, hopefully anyway, to take it to the next level and to push yourself through another layer of fear. I know for me, one big thing, and I talked about this in another video, has always been public speaking. I was absolutely terrified of it and would avoid it. And I still get nervous. Like, I'm a little nervous tonight, you know, to do this. But it's something that one morning I literally woke up and it was like, you're going to make videos today. And I actually argued with that voice and was like, no, I'm not. I don't want to do that. That seems really scary. But you know what? At the end of the day, I understand that when I hear that voice, that when I hear that calling, I take action on it immediately. And so I did it. I did it that day. And I don't even think it was a great video, but I just did it and I took the action on it. And I've been making videos ever since, and continue to push myself out of my comfort zone a little bit more with the things that I'm doing, with, you know, speaking opportunities and things like that as well, because I don't want this fear to be in the driver's seat of my life. I want to be in the driver's seat of my life. And so for you guys, I want you to think about, how do I need to get myself back into the driver's seat of my life? And what are some of these ways that I can challenge these fears, that I can push myself, that I can begin to work in that direction of my dreams? Because you are never going to move in the direction of your dreams without getting hit face to face with some big time fear. And I'm telling you, it will be major and it will be terrifying, and you have to do it anyway. And I'm not talking about making stupid decisions. I'm not talking about, you know, doing things that are going to be really bad for you or bad for your family. You know, I have twin boys at home. I had a family to take care of too. And while I said that wasn't the logical decision, my soul knew that it was the right decision. So I did it anyway. And if your soul knows that this is the right decision for you, do it anyway and push yourself. Because again, most of the time, the number one thing that holds people back is this fear. And it's not that you don't know what to do. It's not that you don't have what it takes to do it. You just have to do it. And through the process, you'll find confidence in yourself. You might not have the confidence in yourself just yet. And that's okay. You do it now. You do it as you are, just how you are. Because if you wait until you have the confidence, you'll probably never find the confidence, because sometimes this is where we find it, is in pushing ourselves and in doing the thing. So do the thing and get started on it. And maybe you do it your way. You want to adjust it to your situation in your way. You know, some people quit their job and they become an entrepreneur the next day, and they go full force hard into that. Though my circumstances didn't allow for that, and God, my heart didn't allow for that. It was too much of a leap for me. So I slowly eased into it. So how can you do it in a way that's going to push you, but that is also going to, you know, allow you to honor that part of yourself that needs the safety and security as well? So how can you do both? You're really encouraged to think about that and explore that and see what comes through for you. And you have to be really careful on how much time you spend in the what ifs, okay? Because if you let yourself go to the what ifs, there are a lot of scary possibilities, and yep, it could absolutely go there. But again, if you're following your intuition, if you're in alignment with your most purposeful life, chances are most of those things are going to be worked out or not happen at all. You know, if you're not sure, for example, okay, what am I going to do about health insurance? Send it up to the angels, send it up to the universe and say, okay, I want to do this, and I'm going to take this leap of faith, but can you show me how? Can you show me a solution for this? And watch the solution show up for you. Watch for the signs and synchronicities to show up for you to support this leap that you're about to take, because they will show up for you. But you also may have to take a leap of faith before you see any real big results with things, okay? Because I find that a lot of times the universe really wants us to take a leap of faith before we get major results and major growth, because it's difficult, right? But we're flexing our faith muscles basically. So let's just kind of quick recap on everything that we've talked about. Thank you guys. I see you guys talking, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to make sure that I'm focusing on what I wanted to say, but I see you guys commenting. I'm going to go through and respond to everything. But we talked about all three of my secrets for connecting with your most purposeful life, your most purposeful career, and that's to follow your intuition, to connect with your life purpose and start a business or a career from that, and then to go for it, to push past the fear and do it anyway. And those are the steps that I encourage you to do. So I just want to ask you guys a question, and that's, if you guys decided that you wanted to do this, if you guys decided that you wanted to go for it, I was talking about my supports, right, that I had in my life, and would you also like to do that with some support? Would you also like to do that in a group setting where people are encouraging you, where I'm encouraging you, and helping to show you, helping to guide you every step of the way? And that's what I want to end this webinar with, is my program that I'm going to be launching, and that's going to be my Life on Purpose program. And so I want to go through, I'm going to actually read it to you guys so that I can go through all of the steps that that's going to incorporate with that. So this is what I'm going to be offering. It's going to be an 8-week program, and I would love to share it with you guys. So module 1 is going to be focused around connecting to your intuition and understanding your intuitive style. So if you're wanting to dive in deep, if you're wanting to understand your intuition on a more in-depth level, we're going to be doing that intuitive development and learning, how the heck do I listen and connect to my intuition to begin with? How do I deepen that and use that to make soul-directed decisions for my business or career? Module 2 is going to be focused around creating a high vibe life, right? So raising your vibration, bringing more light into your energy field, because when you have more light, when you have a higher vibration, you're pulling higher vibrational experiences into your life. So what that means in layman's terms is you have more light and you have better experiences in your life because of it. Because the more you work on raising your vibration, the better, the higher vibrational people you're going to pull into your life, opportunities, experiences, everything. And so when your vibration is higher, your business is going to be more successful, or your opportunities around your career are going to help you to be more successful because it's higher vibrational. And you're just going to feel really, really good because having a high vibration feels awesome. So module 3 is to focus on identifying your life's purpose and your gifts, because we all have gifts. So don't tell me you don't have gifts, because we all have gifts. We all were created with gifts. They're just, each and every one of us is different. So identifying what those gifts are, identifying what your life's purpose, and really helping to understand that on a deeper level, because we need that and we want that to help us to choose what we, how are we going to build on this? How are we going to start a soul-based business from this life purpose? So we'll help you to understand that better. And then module 4 is to create your vision for your soul-aligned business. So beginning to create the vision, beginning to add some structure around it, and offering some ideas and some actual logistical things that you need to get into place to get started with a business. Module number 5, to me, is the most important one. Faith and flow, right? How to continue to have faith, how to continue to flow with what's showing up for you. Because if you can just flow, if you can not fight what's showing up for you and continue to have faith, this is where the miracles happen. This is where we level up, 5 levels in a really short period of time and have a lot of success if we can continue to learn how to connect with that faith and flow in our lives. Module 6 is co-creating with the universe. Okay, so we're going to talk about manifestation. How do we co-create? How do we manifest things into our experience? How do we use the law of attraction to create a successful business, to create a successful life for ourselves, really? Because all of this stuff is going to be about creating your own business or a successful career, but really you can apply it to every part of your life. It's, all of this stuff is stuff we can use in every part of our life. Module 7 is tackling your inner critic, because tell me you guys don't have an inner critic, right? That's been a huge part of my process too, is talking back to that inner critic and challenging that inner critic and slaying those fear dragons. People have said, okay, so how do I push through the fear? And so we're going to talk about some specific strategies for pushing through the fear, and some of that is also just in having that support with the group and people who believe in you and people who are saying, go for it, continue to push, continue to move forward. And then module 8 is all about just bringing it all together and creating the beginnings of a momentum for your soul-aligned business. So those are the modules. That is what I'm going to be offering with that. Now the full price for the program is $14.97, but I wanted to offer to you guys a significant discount on that. And so over the next week, so from what's today, Monday? So up until next Monday, I'm going to be offering it for $555. Angel numbers, right? We got to go with angel numbers. So for $555, you get my entire 8-week program. We'll be in a private group, all of us together, support and resources in the group format, all of that stuff. If you guys have any questions about it, I'm happy to answer those for you. And dive in today. If you guys decide that you want to dive in today, I will also throw in a free session with me, private session with me throughout the course, so that you can dive in individually with me and we can process some of the stuff that you have going on and process some of the individual things that you want to share with me and process with me. So that's all in there as well. So if you register today, you get that private session with me included with your purchase. So I'm going to be sharing that with you, the link down below. You have this whole next week to get yourself registered, and then we're going to be getting started relatively soon with this course once this happens. So I would love to see you guys in there if this resonates for you, if this connects for you, if your intuition is saying to you, this is what you're meant to be doing. I hope that you dive right in. But either way, I appreciate you guys so much for just being here today, for your support. You guys have been so amazing. I've been working on just this momentum and this build up to this webinar, and you guys have been so awesome. And always, but especially lately, I've just really felt the support and the love, and I just want to let you guys know I appreciate it so much. So thank you. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them below, or feel free to send them in a private message to me as well. I appreciate it so much, and I will see you guys soon. Take care.